We pick up our study of Revelation chapter 14 in verse 14 today, and this is a picture of the second coming of Christ. The fuller picture is going to be found in chapter 19, but we get a picture of it, at least a prelude of what's going to happen here in chapter 14. And in verse 14 we have this: "Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and sitting on the white cloud was one like the Son of Man, having a golden crown on his head, and a sharp sickle in his hand." That little verse covers a lot of material, a lot of ground. So let's go back. First of all, I looked, and behold, a white cloud. This is a picture going back for those that knew the Old Testament, and many of the readers of the original group that read this did. This goes back to Daniel chapter 7. And there we have a great scene of the Father and the Son at that point, and the Son on the white cloud. And then setting on the cloud was one like the Son of Man. Now the term Son of Man originates also in this context back to Daniel chapter 7. And it is a picture of the Messiah. It's a title for the Messiah. When Jesus was on earth, he often called himself the Son of Man, going back right to Daniel chapter 7. As a matter of fact, he got himself in trouble on the final time with the Pharisees and the Sadducees that sent him to the cross when he determined before them that he was the Son of Man. They knew exactly what he was talking about because they knew Daniel chapter 7. It was a picture, a depiction, let's say, of the Messiah who was to come. And they knew that. And so we now have a picture here of the Son of Man, taking us right back to Daniel chapter 7. And then it says he has a golden crown on his head, so that would be a picture of his rulership, his reigning over the earth. So at the second coming of Christ, he assumes the reign that has always been his over the whole planet and over the whole universe. And he'll have a crown to show us that. And then a sharp sickle in his hand. So one more piece of information. This sickle would be a sign of judgment. As we pick up the rest of the story here in this chapter, this is going to be part of the means by which judgment comes upon those who have rejected Christ and have followed the Antichrist. So all that entry verse says a great deal about what's going to happen next. Verse 15, we have another angel. Now, we've had 4 angels now, going back to verse 6, who have stepped up and said something, and now we have another one. Another angel came out of the temple, crying out with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud. So here's an angel proclaiming something. What is he going to proclaim? He says, "Put in your sickle and reap, for the hour to reap is come, because the harvest of the earth is ripe." What he's saying here is it's time for judgment. It's time for the Son of Man, Christ himself, to bring judgment on the earth. And so he calls for that. He says the harvest on the earth is ripe. Now this is interesting because not only is the harvest ripe, but the word there, the original Greek word, means dry. So it would be like a fruit, like let's say like a berry, a raspberry, that has gone beyond ripeness all the way to beginning to dry up. In other words, the time for judgment has come, and it is even past time. The Lord has tarried in patience and in long suffering with those who have rejected him, even beyond what he ever should have done in some ways. That's what the angel is saying. It's ripe. It's ready to go. It's time for the harvest. And then verse 16, "Then he who sat on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was reaped." So there is this picture of the judgment of Christ coming on the earth at this time, using this sickle as the metaphor over the earth, and the earth is reaped. And therefore, what he's doing now is he is going to bring judgment upon all those who have rejected him at this time. So that's the picture. That is what's happening. Now, what that really looks like, and the rest of the picture is what we'll look at tomorrow in verses 17 through 20. And again, this is a gruesome, ugly, just tragic picture of the judgment of God upon the sinfulness of humanity that have rejected him. So we'll pick that up tomorrow. We hope you can join us.